Hi, my name is Mary McCarley. I am the Health Education Content Specialist with Goodheart-Willcox and the co-author of their middle school health textbook. I was a teacher for 15 years in Charlotte Mecklenburg schools, and now I provide professional development and training for our middle school and high school health education resources. So many teachers and district coordinators have reached out to us in need of middle and high school digital health education resources, and we've been more than happy to provide these resources at no charge, given the challenges we know you all are facing. I wanted to create this video to extend this offer to all teachers and all school districts in need of digital middle school and high school health education resources at no charge. In this presentation, I will focus on our high school resources. And in this presentation, I will provide an immediate solution. If you are in need of resources right now, I will provide you 10 skills-based assessments as a PDF that you can begin assigning to your students today. And number two, I will provide you a long-term solution for those teachers and school districts who may remain out of school for the remainder of the school year. At no charge, we can set up a pilot for 90 days of full online access to all of our digital resources for students and teachers. And number three, I will describe the steps to access these resources. We have an amazing award-winning author team. Catherine Sanderson and Mark Zellman wrote the pages of the text, while Melanie, Melissa, and Diane created the student-based assessments. So first, an immediate solution. We know many of you are in need of resources right now. From our 2021 edition, we will provide 10 skills-based health assessments that you can print, email, or post to Google Classroom or your learning management system for students to access. All of the 10 skills-based assessments are embedded in the pages of our 2021 edition. We have created these as PDFs for you. So here's an example of one of the activities that you'll have access to. Research in action, debunking health claims. And as you can see, every one of these assessments will have an assessment to practice a particular health skill, and in this case, accessing information. So here's another example, local and global health, the opioid epidemic. And so once again, students will be practicing a skill, and this one is advocacy. Also, there are case studies, and students will be practicing the skill of accessing information. Health across the lifespan, and in this case, practicing the skill of health-enhancing behaviors. Health in the media, and the skill would be analyzing influences. Health in the media, social media challenges and dares. And students will practice the skill of accessing information. So I just wanted to provide several different examples, but there are 10 skills-based assessments that you can begin assigning to your students today. And here's another example, quiz, what kind of communicator are you? And students will be practicing the skill of health-enhancing behaviors. Skills for health and wellness, and practicing the skill of communicating with others. And this would be a great one. You'll see that several of these ask students to practice with a partner in class. So because students are learning remotely, they may need to practice with a sibling or parent, and in this case, they're doing a role play. So it may be neat to ask students to provide video evidence of it. So that was an immediate solution, and as I mentioned, those activities were from our 2021 edition. Now for the long-term solution. We know that many of you may be out of school until the end of the school year. At no charge, we want to provide you 90 days of full access to our digital resources for students and teachers. Our online platform for our 2021 edition is not quite ready, so we are going to be providing you access from our 2018 edition. And these are the resources that you'll have access to. The student textbook and all the classroom activities and assessments from the student textbook, the companion website, which would include like videos, animations, there's interactive vocabulary games, assessments, e-flashcards, and these are actually going to come from within the pages of the textbook. So our textbook is interactive, and that students can click on icons to take them to the companion website. Also, students will have access to the student workbook, which is skills-based. It does have form fields for students to type directly in and submit to their teacher digitally. And lastly, the teacher will have access to the extensive online instructor resources. I do want to point out that we do integrate with learning management systems. We also roster, and students and teachers can post to Google Classroom. So there's two versions of our high school textbook. The comprehensive version, as you can see here, includes the last two chapters on sexual health. And those last two chapters are aligned to the National Sexuality Education Standards. We also have an essential version, which does not include those last two chapters on sexual health. So our textbooks are aligned to the National Health Education Standards. And if you dive into the pages of the text, you'll see that every lesson begins with key terms. There is a before you read activity, a warm-up activity, and also the lesson objectives. And this is a good time to point out, this is the activity icon that I mentioned earlier. By clicking on it, students could go to the companion website and do an interactive vocabulary activity to reinforce those key terms. And at the end of every lesson, there's always those text-dependent questions and a real-world health activity. Once again, by clicking on this activity icon, I could complete these text-dependent questions digitally and submit to my teacher. We were very intentional about making sure it captivated the attention of young learners. This is written on a 9th grade reading level. You will see brightly colored images and infographics, and also you'll see the smaller paragraph size. So embedded within the pages of the book are over 300 activities for students to do, and I wanted to highlight some of these activities. Every lesson has a before you read activity. Every lesson has a warm-up activity. Every chapter has a case study. Every chapter has health across the lifespan. Every lesson has a real-world health activity. Every chapter has research in action. And every chapter has health in the media. Every chapter has what's your health and wellness IQ quiz, and it's similar to a pre-assessment, and the students can assess what they do and don't know on a particular topic. Once again, note this activity icon that students can complete this digitally. Personal profile is in every chapter, allowing students to assess whether or not they're putting their health at risk. Local and global health is in every chapter. And every chapter has a hands-on activity. So you'll see that there's lots of different opportunities for cross-curricular instruction and real-world application. The last two chapters are the chapters on sexual health. These are only in our comprehensive version of the textbook. And once again, those are aligned to the National Sexuality Education Standards. At the end of every chapter, there's key terms, key points, check for understanding. Those check for understanding questions, students can complete those digitally. And my favorite at the end of every chapter are health and wellness skills. And these are short assessments to help reinforce those important health skills. And also at the end of every chapter, there's core skills to help reinforce math, reading, and writing. Note that activity icon that students can complete this digitally. So let's dive into the pages of the textbook. So once you've logged in, you will see this online platform. So if you're using a learning management system, it would look differently. You'll see first the student textbook, the student workbook, and then the teacher would have access to the instructor's edition and the online instructor resources. So I'll make sure to show you how to navigate each of these resources. Let's click on the student textbook first. I'm going to scroll down and you'll see that the textbook is divided by unit and by chapter. Let's click on chapter 5, body image. And on the left-hand side, you'll see a navigation bar. The plus allows you to zoom in minus zoom out. The third button down allows you to go to another unit or chapter of the book. Click again to close. The fourth button, you go directly to the companion website, which are those icons in the book. Click again to close. And both students and teachers do have the opportunity to print pages of the textbook. I do want to point out you're on page 130. To jump to another page of the textbook, you can type in the page number here and click. To go to the next page of the textbook, just click the arrow. Also, if you want to search the textbook by a key term, you can type in the key term here and click, and it will take you to the page of the book and actually highlight the key term as well. So I do want to point out this activity icon. As you can see here, I'm hovering over the activity icon, and by clicking on it, I'll go directly to that assessment. So as a student, I can type directly into these form fields. And upon completion, you'll see that I do have the opportunity to email it to my teacher. I would type in my name, my email, my teacher's email, confirm and send, and that would send this assessment to my teacher via email. However, I do want to point out that all of our assessments, including our workbook pages, can be saved in this way. If I want to right-click in the space off to the side, I do have the option. I can save it as a PDF. However, if I click the print option, I can either print it or I can change the destination away from the printer. And then from there, I do have the option to save as a PDF. If I am logged into my Google Drive, which I'm not, but if I was, it would pop up for me to save to Google Drive as well. If you do like using Google Classroom, you'll be happy to know that these, if I copy and paste this, I can go to Google Classroom, add an assignment, and add it as a link. Students could go directly to Google Classroom as long as they're signed into our textbook. They can click on the link in Google Classroom, and it would take them directly to this assessment. So that was an overview of our textbook. So let's move on to our companion website now. So the companion website really allows students to review, assess, and to extend their knowledge. And here are some of the features you'll see on our companion website. There are labeling activities. There's several different vocabulary activities. E-flashcards, these are available in Spanish as well. There's lesson review questions, chapter review questions. There's animations, video clips, and some additional assessments on hot topics happening in health. So let's see where you access the companion website. So I did show you that you can access the companion website from within the pages of the book, which is what most of your students will do. However, you can also access the companion website by clicking here. So I'm going to access it once again from within the pages of the book. And then from there, I'm going to click this blue icon, and it will allow me to go back, and now I can see the entire companion website. It recognized I was at chapter 5, so it took me back to chapter 5. I'm going to scroll up so you can see that all the chapters are included. At the very top, you'll see all the animations and videos. However, the animations and videos are also embedded within the units, chapters, and lessons. So as you can see here, here's Unit 1, and there's a video clip. Now we're at Chapter 1 and the Health and Wellness IQ quiz. Now we're at Lesson 1.1, and you'll see that there's e-flashcards. There's several different vocabulary activities, and then there is the lesson review questions. So I strongly encourage you to click around. These are intended for students to just practice, review, and assess. So I'll just click on a couple of them. There's the e-flashcards. By clicking on it, I can see the definition. I can go to the next. I can also, rather than seeing the term first, I can switch it and now see the definition first, and then click it for the term. I'm going to click the activities icon to go back. I'll just highlight one more. The matching activity. So whether I get them right or wrong, the program is going to prompt me to keep trying. So this was not intended to be an assessment for students, but rather for just practice. If you wanted to count it as assessment, once again, just ask students to right-click in the space off to the side. They can save it as a PDF. They can also click the print option and then change the destination to save to Google Drive or save as a PDF. Anytime you want to go back to the main page, just click this My Bookshelf and it will take you back. So next I'm going to highlight our resource, the next resource, which is our student workbook. And this is available as an essential version or a comprehensive. So remember, the comprehensive has the last 2 chapters on sexual health, while the essential does not. And the workbook is intended to review, assess, and to extend knowledge. It is skills-based and also based on real-life application. So you'll see many opportunities for students to practice those important health skills. So let's dive into the student workbook. I'm going to scroll down and click on Student Workbook. From there, I can choose a particular chapter. And in this format, I can zoom in, zoom out. I can go to another unit or chapter, click again to close. This 4th button down is going to allow me to see the entire workbook with form fields. But before I click on that, I do want to point out that I can print the pages as well. So let's look at it with form fields. So in this format, the students can see the entire workbook with form fields. So by clicking on a particular activity, they can type directly into these form fields now. And I'm going to scroll down. Upon completion, they do have the option to email to their teacher. However, once again, all of our assessments can be saved by right-clicking in the space off to the side. They can save it as a PDF, or they can click the print option. They can print it or change the destination away from the printer. I'm going to change the destination away from the printer, and then from there they would have the opportunity to save as a PDF, or if I was logged into my Google Drive, it would pop up Save to Google Drive as well, and then from there submit into Google Classroom. Once again, if you are using Google Classroom, you do have the option to copy and paste this link and add an assignment in Google Classroom and add it as a link. Students could click on the link and this workbook page would pop up with form fields. Remember, always instruct the students to log into the online textbook first. So last but not least, I want to review what's available for teachers. So this is going to help you plan and facilitate your online course. You do have a teacher's edition, and this is going to have information on best practices. There's an answer key as well and a pacing chart. We do provide 2 to 4 updated lessons per school year. So we've already uploaded 2 this year. One's on PEP and PrEP, and the other one is on vaping and the health effects. And that's going to include teacher text, student text, lesson review questions, an activity worksheet, and answer keys. Also, there are lesson plans. These are in Word format, so you can edit and change them. You will have access to our PowerPoints. These are divided by lesson. You can edit them, so you can add slides, delete slides, change text, change pictures, and save it as your own. You also have access to our ExamView software. So this allows you to generate a customized test for students using true, false, multiple choice, matching, short answer, and essay questions. And it will also generate an answer key as well. However, you will only have the option to print these tests unless you're using a learning management system like Canvas or Schoology or Blackboard, and then you can facilitate an online test and it will grade it as well. So let me show you where you're going to be able to find these resources. So once again, to get back, always click the My Bookshelf tab. I'm going to scroll down. You'll see the Instructor's Edition. And I'm going to click on the online instructor resources. Now click Instructor Resources. Here are the content update lessons. As I mentioned, there's one on the health effects of vaping, and then also PEP and PrEP. I'm going to click the minus to minimize. Also, there's a resource material. This is a great place to find the correlation to the National Health Education Standards and National Sexuality Education Standards. The chapter resources. So let's imagine we're teaching chapter 10, alcohol. Here are your textbook answer keys, workbook answer keys, lesson plan and Word document, and then the presentations. The first one you cannot modify, but the second one you can modify. And by clicking on another chapter, you'll see that the format is the same. Lastly, I'm going to click on the assessment software and question pool. So as I mentioned, you'll have the opportunity to download this software and create a customized test for students. However, unless you're using a learning management system, you would only have the option to print these tests. If you have a Windows, you'll need this file, or a Mac, you'll need this file. And if you're using a learning management system, you'll need these files. So I hope I provided a great overview of our resources that would be available with the 90-day pilot. And I hope that you're able to see if this is a good fit for your school district. So how would you access these resources? So if you want to access our immediate resources, the 10 skills-based assessments, or if you want to sign up for a 90-day pilot, or if you want both, all you need to do is email me at mccarley@g-w.com. And if you do want the 90-day pilot, consider reaching out to your district coordinator first. We are more than happy to provide access to the entire school district. So once again, you'll see my email address here. But I truly appreciate your time. We are here to support you during these challenging times. If you are interested in our middle school resources, feel free to email me as well. We have created a video to highlight these resources as well. Lastly, if your school district is currently reviewing health curriculum for an upcoming adoption, please reach out so I can send our 2021 editions. We have not completed the online platform yet, but they are available in print to review. Thank you guys so much for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day and stay healthy.